Have you ever felt like there was a limitation holding you back in your life? Maybe you weren't dealt with the best hand at birth. Maybe an unfortunate event happened in your life. Or maybe you feel like nothing ever goes your way. I feel you big time, and I want to let you know that you're not alone. Being born with an eye disability, I always felt limited and I felt different. I always thought that no one would ever resonate or understand me. I would always play everything safe. I didn't want to be the center of attention because, quite frankly, I didn't want others to know that I had an eye disability. And that messed with my self-esteem for a really long time. It felt like I was playing life sitting on the sideline, while my friends, classmates, family members were going out there living their best life. But something deep down in me always knew that I had something special in me. I always knew that I was meant out for more. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how it was gonna happen. I didn't know how things were gonna turn out in my life. But I'm making this video because I have a burning passion in me to share my story in hopes to share perspective. Maybe you have a disability yourself. Maybe you have something that you feel as though is limiting you in your life. Maybe you weren't dealt with the best cards, but it's all good because that doesn't have to continue being your reality. I let my disability hold me back for so long, and at a certain point I knew that something had to change, or I was gonna continue living my life holding myself back from being able to live my best life. Here's how I stopped seeing my disability as a weakness. In fact, it's my superpower. Number one, you can get better at anything. Growing up, I felt like I didn't have any skills or talents. I didn't have good grades. I wasn't good at sports. I didn't have any hobbies or talents. I just felt like I wasn't good at anything. But one thing that I did start early on was fitness. I started working out with a pair of 10-pound dumbbells when I was 10 years old. And throughout my fitness journey, it taught me that you can get better at anything. Life is almost like a game of leveling up. We weren't born knowing how to walk, knowing how to talk, knowing how to brush our teeth or any of these things. But through repetition, through feedback, through experience, we got better over time. And the same thing goes with anything that we want to do. And that lesson that I learned from fitness changed my entire perspective on life. Even in my entrepreneurship journey, marketing, sales, being able to deliver an awesome product or service, these are all skill sets. And the best part is, no matter how much you suck at first, you're capable of getting better over time. So if you feel like you don't have any skills, talents, or anything that you're good at, we all started somewhere. We were all a baby at one time. But as long as you open your mind to learning new things, to trying new things, being willing to get feedback, you can get better at doing anything. Secondly, what makes you different makes you unique. Again, growing up, I felt like I didn't have any hobbies or talents. I didn't play video games, I didn't watch movies, I didn't necessarily do the things that a normal child did. And it made me feel left out. I felt like I didn't really fit in with my classmates or my friends. I didn't really have anything that I was able to relate with. And it made me compare myself to them, thinking that I wasn't good enough, which I feel like is completely normal. As a child, you see your friends and your classmates doing all these fun things and you don't want to feel left out. But one thing I learned throughout my journey is that you don't have to compare yourself to others. Just because you're different doesn't mean that you're not good enough. In fact, I truly believe that, hey, maybe you weren't dealt with the best hand, or maybe you are a little bit different than your peers, but you got something in you that others don't have. And that's what makes you unique. I had a mentor once tell me, from today on, moving forward, don't ever say or tell yourself that you have a disability. And that completely changed my life, because up to that point in my life, I was like 21 years old. I would literally tell myself that, yo, you have a disability, yo, you're not good enough, yo, you're not capable of doing these things that your peers and your friends are doing. Nah, my disability makes me unique. It gives me perspective. It allows me to share a story that no one else can tell. Just because I wasn't dealt with the best hand or I had a rough childhood doesn't mean that I have to continue living in that victim mindset and pointing fingers to all the reasons why I wasn't necessarily where I wanted to be in my life. In fact, I can use that as my strength. It's why I show up with the purpose and the passion that I have today. I might not have the skills or talents like my peers do, but the one thing you can't take away from me is my story. So if you feel limited in your life, instead of viewing it as something that is holding you back, be grateful that you have that a part of your journey. Because let me tell you, that is a hell of a heroic story right there. And that's something no one can take from you. And lastly, this is one of my all-time favorite quotes. Life is like a game of poker. You see, in a game of poker, everyone is dealt with a different hand, all randomized. You can be dealt with the best hand and still lose. Yes, you might have a higher chance of winning with a better hand, but having a better hand doesn't guarantee that you're going to win. But it's about how you strategically use your hand. My message for you today is change is possible. Transformation is possible. If you're not happy with your current reality, you can get better at anything over time. Use your story as your superpower. It might seem like a weakness right now, but show us that heroic story. And this game isn't about the cards that you were dealt, but how you strategically play them. If I can do it, so can you.